Ahmed, thank you for stopping by.
You're welcome. It's a
Before we
pleasure.
start, before we start, I want to say that SoloGate is partnering with Mira Developments to get you exclusive units in all their projects inside and outside of UAE. And today we're talking about something that's outside of the UAE, which I'm really excited about, specifically Georgia. Before we get into this, if over the past year, if you go on Instagram, you scroll a bit, you'll notice that there have been more advertisements on Georgia. Everybody's talking about Georgia,
Mm.
about the market, the real estate market over there. Before we get into what Mira's doing there, tell us a little bit about the Georgian market in the in the real estate.
So, first of all, thank you so much, Yusuf, for having me here. It's a pleasure. Uh, it's always a pleasure working with
Thank
SoloGate. You've got an amazing company, amazing agency, amazing teammates, amazing colleagues. It's a pleasure. And
Likewise,
we love, especially here in Mira, we love working with active agents.
absolutely.
We love working with agents who care about the people who follow them, who watch their content, people who always give value and give very valuable insights, and you're one of them for
Thank
sure.
you,
So
thank you.
it's a pleasure being here.
My pleasure. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
So talking about the Georgian market from a point of view of someone living and raised here in the UAE, as you know, I've worked in the Georgian market from Dubai for about 2 years. So I faced a lot of objections from clients, a lot of questions. I understand what's the mindset of an investor or a client who wants to go and invest in the Georgian market, right? The Georgian market is a very interesting market, I'd say, right? Over the past years, we've seen a lot of countries emerging as some trends that you see. People invest their money in there, people travel over there a lot and everything. But it's very rare to see a very sustainable market, right? It's very rare to see a market that gets the trend, gets the hype, and then sustains that hype, sustains that increasing numbers,
Right.
sustained the interest in it, right? And this is why Georgia is actually very interesting. I think Georgia and the Georgian government, they're doing something which not everyone did, right? We've seen a lot of countries. I don't want to name exactly
Right.
names, but we've seen a lot of countries that came up as trends where people go to buy properties, people travel there for vacations and so on. But then within 2 3 years, that interest wasn't taken care of well. So then the investors and the foreign investors specifically moved their money somewhere else. And that's why Georgia specifically is very interesting. We'll get into the
Right.
details later and the
Exactly.
numbers and everything, but that's, in my opinion, why specifically we're always interested in Georgia.
And that's why you got into Georgia as a market.
Exactly.
You got into Georgia as a market with a project called Mira Verde
Yes, Mira
and
Verde.
Mira Verde.
Yes.
And I want to ask you about the vision behind this project. What gaps did you find in the Georgia market that you wanted to fill in with this project?
So, Mira Verde is the region's first master plan community that is branded. This is the first in the region. We're not only talking about Georgia right now, we're even taking it into a bigger scale. We're talking about the whole region, right? The countries bordering Georgia as well. This is the first branded master planned community. That's first. Second of all, the vision that we are bringing into this project is that we are bringing what Mira does in the UAE lifestyle, the UAE community lifestyle. UAE and Dubai specifically are very famous for the community lifestyle, right? So we're bringing that into Georgia, right? Now, the gap that we are filling in the market is that the Georgian market is overwhelmingly full of unbranded projects, self-managed apartments, investors who go and do everything from A to Z, right? Finish the apartment, furnish the apartment, manage the apartment, and so on. We are coming with something that is hassle-free for the clients, right? Especially when we're talking about international clients, international investors. They don't want the headache of managing the apartment, finishing the apartment, furnishing the apartment, and all that. When you find a reputable developer like Mira Developments who comes to you, gives you everything A to Z at a very good entry price, at a very great location, then of course you're going to go with them. And that's the exact gap that we're filling in the market, that there
Right.
is no well-serviced residential apartments, branded apartments in Georgia.
Interesting. And that's actually something I wanted to mention because Mira, most of their projects, if not all, are branded.
Yes.
That's the focus. And in my opinion, one of the biggest USPs is actually you provide all of your projects fully serviced and fully furnished.
Yes.
And that's something very unique because the it makes it hassle free for the tenant, for the end user, and the investor. So is that also going to be applied in Georgia outside of the U.S.?
Yes, yes. So basically, if we go back to the roots, Mira's concept and Mira's main idea doesn't change wherever we go. In all the locations that we're coming in, we're sticking to our concept, right? Because that's what we believe in, and that's the main idea that made Mira what it is right now.
Right.
So all the branded projects, all the residential projects that we are handing over are gonna have the services, are gonna have the Mira Care package. They're gonna have the same quality, the same aftercare. We're gonna take care of each project just like our babies, basically.
Okay, that's amazing. Before I ask you about the master community itself and what you offer inside of the master community, I want to ask you who's your target audience? Who is this project for? And who's your ideal buyer, basically, for Miraverde?
So now the ideal buyer in when it comes to an interesting project like this, right? It caters for everyone, right? We have this project has offices. This project has a five-star hotel. This project has a medical hotel, a wellness center, a school, a university, apartments, villas, townhouses, a retail center. It has everything, right? So when you look at it from a point of view of an end user, basically you have a city inside the city. You have a community that has everything basically. That's first. When you look at it from an investor's point of view, right? Think of a tenant who's coming to live in Tbilisi and he's coming with his family. Someone who's new to Tbilisi wouldn't want to drive around, find schools, find universities, find a mall, find shops, and so on. You have everything ready in the community with a very high quality, something that's not in the market yet, something that's one of its kind and the first of its kind as well. So basically, the ideal buyer, I'd say, is everyone. Anyone who's interested in Georgia in general will definitely have Mira Verde on their list, whether it's an end user or an investor.
Okay, interesting. And if I were a cautious investor, someone that's looking into invest, and Georgia is a new territory. I don't know about Georgia. I only know about Dubai. What would you advise me? Because all I'm hearing, I'm hearing, oh, you can invest in Turkey. I have Turkey as an option. I have Georgia. I have Dubai. Where should I put my money from your perspective about this one?
All right, so every smart investor is a cautious investor, right? So you have to deal with all the investors the same way. They're all cautious. So now when we come to compare, right, you have two options in front of you, in my opinion, right? We either put Dubai or Georgia. We can't even put any other country on the list with them. Why is that? Because the options and the safety options and the fundamentals that are Georgia giving you, you can't find it in the region around it. You can't find it in Turkey, can't find it in Azerbaijan, can't find it in Bosnia, for example. You can't find it in those countries. That's first. Dubai gives you the security and the safety net. That can't be argued, right? But then if you want low entry prices, okay, if you want a country that has a very huge potential, if you missed the chance to enter Dubai in 2008, 2010, 2012, this is your chance to enter Georgia right now.
Okay.
Number wise, data wise, we're seeing the same signs and indicators that we saw in Dubai in the early 2010s, 2011s, 2008, and so on. So those indicators as investors, when you look at it, those indicators gives you an indication that this market is new, this market is coming very strongly, and this is a market to consider, right? So with cautious investors, usually that's what I do. I always tend to show them numbers, and I compare them. Of course, we can't compare Dubai and Georgia, but Dubai is a very, very, very successful example, and we can use Dubai to show that, you know what, Georgia is an upcoming market.
Right.
I'm not saying it will be better than Dubai. We cannot say that, of course. Dubai is, let's say, a once in a lifetime experience for sure, but it is a very good option. It's a very safe option to come.
Okay, that's very interesting. And if I were to ask you something about, aside from the numbers, about how life is in Mira Verde and like the daily life, I want you to imagine to use like one of those imagine sentences.
Yes.
Imagine the life in Mira Verde.
Yes. You can't describe it. So I've been to the location of the community itself around two times right now. Location wise, you're at the highest point in the city, right? You have an amazing view. You have amazing front and back views, right? Like you're talking about an open city view, an open greenery view on the back as well. That's first, very clean air, right? Imagine yourself, you wake up to an amazing view. You take your children to drop them on the on-site school, right? And then you go with your wife to the wellness center. You have an amazing afternoon at the wellness center. You go play some golf,
I love that.
right?
Yeah.
And then you pick up your kids from the school, go to the mall, have a nice, amazing dinner with an amazing view as well, right, on the city. And then all this while your apartment is being taken care of, right? You don't need to worry about the cleaning. We clean it for you every week,
Right.
deep cleaning. You don't need to worry about the management. Don't need to worry about the security. It's a gated community. Security is one of our top priorities in a gated community, right? Add on it, if God forbid you feel the need to for a hospital or whatever, you have the medical center in the community itself, right? You have the offices next to you as well,
In the community, you
in
have
the
the offices.
community as well.
I
Yes.
love that.
So basically, we're providing something that's, as I said, not there, something new in the market where you have everything within a walking distance. Everything is in the community with you. And this comes, of course, with the view, with the quality, with the lifestyle, with the luxury as well.
You know what's interesting? I think all what you said right now justifies the premium price because I was going to play the devil's advocate and tell you, the project is definitely at a more premium price than the market in Georgia. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think
1000%.
right. And I think all
1000.
what you said kind of justifies this is what you're getting for that price.
The only person who would agree with our pricing is someone who went through the effort of trying to find a very luxurious apartment for him and his family in Georgia, something that is very unique and so on, right? Because as just a browser, someone who's just looking at the prices in the market, you're going to open whatever portal you're going to open, you can look at the prices, and then you compare with our prices, you're going to be like, Mira's prices are very high, right? But then when you look at the details of it, when you look deeply into it and think about it, first of all, the location itself, right? You're at the highest point in the city, even higher than where tourists pay money to go and look at the city,
Right.
right? You're living there. That's first. Second of all, you have all the amenities, all the facilities within the community itself, right? I still didn't talk about what Mira does. I didn't talk about the quality of the building. I didn't talk about the furniture. I didn't talk about the Mira Care package where you get cleaning once in a week for life. They didn't talk about the guarantees you get for the finishing, the furniture, and so on. Right? I'm
So
just talking about your
basically,
experience that you get over there.
right. So that's the kind of the biggest gap that you're filling in the market because
Yes.
from what I understand from you, it's a struggle to do it on your own,
Yes.
right? To
Yes.
get an apartment and to do the renovation and all of these things, and you provide that solution. You provide the fact that it's fully serviced, fully furnished. It's a master
Exactly.
community, so adds up.
For sure, for sure. So, not only that part, I wouldn't say it's a struggle, but it's gonna take time, effort, and money,
Right.
right? And then, as an international investor and as a business person, uh, time and effort cost a lot of money,
Exactly.
right? So, if I'm giving you the chance, right, to have your apartment fully furnished, fully serviced, fully managed by Mira, everything is ready for you right here, then you're going to see the value in it. You're going to understand that, you know what, I don't need to make multiple trips to Georgia just to see if my apartment is finished, is it ready, is the quality as I was promised, and so on. No, we deliver everything, we manage it for you. And add on it, which is our key surprise for this project, what was the 8% guaranteed ROI for 10 years,
Wow.
right? This is something that
For 10 years.
for 10 years, yes, we're guarantee you 8% ROI for 10 years net.
That's tempting. I think it's very tempting. Um, I'm going to read this one off of the card. Like, what are the biggest misconceptions international investors have about Georgia in general?
So I faced this a lot, and that's why all of my calls with the clients, right? The first thing I do is I ask them, "What do you know about Georgia?" Because there's a lot of misconceptions going around. The most common one is that it's not freehold ownership, which is totally wrong. Georgia offers freehold ownership on all apartments, villas, and even plots. 100% freehold ownership. The only thing that they're keeping for themselves is the agricultural land, which they're trying to keep within the local sector. They only want locals to own agricultural land. Other than that, apartments, plots, and residential plots and villas, they're all freehold ownership for foreigners.
Full ownership.
Full ownership. That's the first. Now, the second part is the economy in Georgia isn't doing very well. It's a trend. It will die very soon and so on, which is also very wrong, right? If we look at the numbers, and this is also another graph that I love so much, is that it shows you how investors put their money in Georgia, right? The graph shows that investors put their money throughout different sectors, not only in real estate. It's not a trend. Investors see the value in Georgia, see the value in the country itself, see the value in the economy, see the potential in the country, and they invest in water supply, in waste management, in transport, in AI, in education, in healthcare, right? Real estate is just a small part of that market. We're talking about less than 20% of foreign investments are coming into the real estate market. So this graph shows you that the economy of the country isn't dependent only on the real estate market. It isn't dependent only on the tourism. No, the country has a lot more to offer. The country is offering a lot, and that's where investors see the value of it.
Right. I like the argument that you made, and I want to get back to you and ask what makes it sustainable? What makes it sustainable as a market? Why wouldn't it be a hype like that argument you just made?
Yes.
Like for example, when you look at Dubai, there are fundamentals, the infrastructure, the 0% tax, and all of these things that we always say. There are fundamentals, and with the government vision that makes this a success story over the years and makes it sustainable.
So let's first define sustainability, right? When you compare a trending market that's just a trend that's going to die off soon, and you compare a sustainable market, you're going to notice one core difference, which I always notice, right? A trending market usually depends on one or two sectors. So, for example, one of the countries, they depend only on tourism and real estate, right? Tourism builds on real estate builds on tourism, right? So, whenever anything affects the tourism, it immediately affects the real estate.
Right.
And whenever anything affects the real estate, it affects the tourism and vice versa, right? But then when you look at a sustainable market, let's take Dubai, for example, right? Real estate isn't the only thing that's driving the market or the demand on the country itself in the UAE or in Dubai, right? We're talking about a lot of businesses are opening their hubs here, right? Because of the tax incentives, because of how easy it is to operate from Dubai, because of how easy it is to network here in Dubai, because of as well of the tourism demand, of the many different sectors, right? Not only one or two sectors.
Right.
Now, the same thing we're seeing in Georgia, and this is actually the government's plan, right? Another thing as well, which I didn't mention, which I forgot to mention, is the government, right? When there's a government plan backing up the real estate market in a way that is, they put real estate within one of their core interests, that's what also will make sure that there's sustainability in the market, there is regulation in the market. It's not just a one big spike and that's it,
Right.
right? So this is what we're seeing as well. The Georgian government is doing right now, right? So they know tourism is one of their main interests, for example, right? So they keep on making it easier for tourists to enter the country. They keep on making it easier for example, people who live in the GCC countries can just travel with the Emirates ID or with the residency cards and just enter. Even if you don't live in the GCC countries, you can apply through the e-visa portal. Very cheap, very fast, and you can get to enter the country, right?
This is
So
for tourism mainly.
exactly, this is
What
for
about the
tourism.
facilitation for real estate? How are the taxes there? What's the situation when it comes to that?
All right, so now taxes as well. Georgia is one of the most attractive. They have most attractive tax systems in the region as well. So we're talking about only 5% tax on the rental returns, not from the property value. Capital gain tax can be 0% if you hold your property more than 2 years, right? There is no property tax, no registration tax, no inheritance tax,
Okay.
right? So all these are incentives which the government is putting in place to attract more investors, right? If the government wanted a quick high spike, they would have put 0% tax even if you sell within, if you flip, right? They just like welcome flippers. But no, they want long-term investors. They want people who are there for the long term. That's why they're making it more attractive. We also have the residency option, where you get residency through investment. Just by an investment of $150,000, you're eligible to get a real estate residency, which can be renewed. All these incentives are put there by the government, right, to make sure they attract more and more investors.
This is a hot question. Can you eventually get the citizenship in Georgia by investment?
So the citizenship and the investment are not connected whatsoever, right? So what is connected is the residency and the investment. So you make your investment and then you get the residency,
Right.
right? Then once you have the residency for 5 years, you can apply to get the permanent residency, right? Now the permanent residency, once you get it, it's not linked to your property. So now you have the permanent residency in Georgia. You can even sell your property after that, right? Now, once you have the permanent residency, here you are eligible to apply to the citizenship. You just need to know the basics of the Georgian language, know some information about the history of the country, the laws, and so on. Normal citizenship application, basically, and then you may be eligible to get the citizenship.
Okay.
But it is not linked to the investment.
Interesting. So let's talk realistic expectations.
Yes.
Now, if people are expecting Dubai style returns, is it the same? Do you think, like, when it comes to rental yields, is it the same, or what's the expectation that they should set on?
Okay, now both of them offer two completely different things, right? Dubai offers you safety, Dubai offers you regulation, Dubai offers you security, right? That's why a lot of people are happy making 6 to 7% ROIs in Dubai. Why? Because they can sleep easily, right? They don't want to take the risk anywhere else. But now the difference between Dubai and Georgia is that Georgia doesn't have the same RERA style regulation we have
Right.
here. They don't have the same DLD style, the escrow accounts, the
Exactly.
regulation from the DLD, and so on. They don't have that in Georgia, right? So only people who are willing to take that risk. I wouldn't even call it a risk because even the Justice House at the moment in Georgia is doing a very good job regulating the market, regulating how many building permits they give out every year, regulating the prices in the locations, regulating the evaluations, and so on. So they're even doing a very good job trying to catch up with the rest of the world and the demand that is coming in Georgia. So when it comes to returns expectations, we can see numbers of people making 14, 15% in Georgia,
Wow.
right? Even 12%, 13%. Those numbers are there, but they're not very stable amongst everywhere. It depends on the location, depends on the project, right? So when you come in with a project very unique, first of its kind in the region, right, with a very fair pricing to the service you're getting in the community, to the quality you're getting, you will make those numbers,
Right.
right? You will definitely. That's why we're very confident giving 8% for 10 years,
Exactly.
right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have given it for 10 years. 10 years is a very long time of managing a whole community.
True.
And that's what we're giving here because we're very confident in what we're giving. We're confident in the market itself, right? If the market didn't have this the potential, you wouldn't see a lot of international developers and international brands coming into Georgia, right? We've got Eagle Hills coming into Georgia. We've got a lot of hotel brands like Hilton, Marriott, Wyndham, Rotana, Alliance, and so on. They're all coming into Georgia as well. They already have hotels in Georgia. So the potential in the country is there. Just need to have an open mind to sit and listen. Right? This is what I always say. If
Makes
you
sense.
don't have an open mind to understand the value in in the city or in the country and expect it to be the same exactly as Dubai, then you better just invest your money here in Dubai. But if you have the open mind to look at a new option, a very good potential option,
True.
then for sure you'll be convinced with Georgia.
100%. What's so special about the location?
A lot of things. So, first of all, we are exactly at Tbilisi Hills, right? It's I consider to be at the south of Tbilisi. Not Tbilisi is very small actually. It's like 700 kilometers square, 6 times smaller than Dubai. So you can imagine how small it is. So we are at the highest point in Tbilisi. You have a full open city view. That's first.
Wow.
Second of all, we have an 18-hole golf course in the community as well, which is one of the most notable attractions in that community. That's first. Second of all, another thing that is also very interesting and what is also going to be standing out is that if you ask anyone who lives in Georgia, what is the most problem that you face daily? The number one answer is traffic, right? Traffic and construction noise. So what we're offering something far away from that. You're away from the traffic, yet you're very close to the center of the city. Driving from our location to the center of the city is going to take you 10 to 15 minutes, and driving from our location to the airport is going to take you 20 to 25 minutes. So, location-wise, we're at a very high location with amazing view in a very premium location where you're far from all the construction noise, from all the dust, from all the traffic, from everything, and you're at a high location. And under the hill exactly is the district of Kristenisi. It's the home to many embassies, to many ministries and government entities. So that location in itself is considered to be somewhat more premium in general. So these people who work in those entities and in those embassies are also going to be one of our target when it comes to rentals, to buying, and so on.
Right. So you preserve the community too, like you make sure what's inside the community and the quality of the community, let's say.
Yes.
Now, from an investor's perspective, how can buyers assess whether a project like Mira Verde will deliver on its promises? You know, it's very high expectations what you offer.
Definitely.
And again, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate, and I'm gonna say like someone will say, "Oh, but you haven't delivered any projects in the market yet, whether in Dubai or Georgia." What are the factors that I should look into as an investor that will give me reassurance that Mira will deliver on its promises?
So, first of all, I'd say please ask these questions, right? When you're investing internationally, this is something you have to ask. You're working internationally, sometimes you work with international developers that you don't know, that you haven't worked with before. So, you need to ask those questions. So, I'm going to divide this question into two parts. First is, how can I work with a developer that hasn't delivered before? For example, Mira. And then the second part is going to be, how can I make sure that they will deliver, and so on, right? So when we talk about the first part, right? Yes, we didn't deliver any project before, but we are not the type of developer that we wait to deliver and sell to launch, right? We know the quality that we're bringing into the market. We know the concept that we are bringing into the market, and that's why we're launching. One of the examples I always give is the reason we're launching a lot, and we have a lot of launches coming in, is that once we deliver our first project, everyone is going to be running to get the other projects that we have. So we need to have something launched already, right? We don't want to get everyone and then wait to launch and launch.
Right.
That's first, right? We know the concept and the idea is very unique, and that's why we are very confidently launching, right? That's the first part. Second part is that if you think about it, right, very big brands like Bentley, like Trussardi, like John Richmond, like Gianfranco Ferri, and all the other brands, Jacob & Co., Etro, right? Those brands wouldn't risk their name to collaborate officially with a developer that hasn't delivered anything yet.
Right.
Right? The reason that they worked with us and they collaborated with us and they have those agreements with us is because they believe in the concept that we're bringing. They believe in our vision. They see our standards. They see our quality. They see our work style, and that's why they worked with us. So if we take Bentley, for example, before Mira, Bentley only had one apartment building in Miami. It was the only one in the world.
Wow.
Very premium, very exclusive. Right now, Bentley is coming with us in 3 locations.
That's amazing.
Right? We have Dubai, we have potentially Abu Dhabi, and we also have Georgia. Right? So if you think about it, a brand like Bentley wouldn't work with any developer who just wants
100%.
to work. Wouldn't work with not only developer real estate wise, but with any other collaboration. There's a very high standard to work with those brands.
Yeah, they wouldn't just associate their name with something that is of a lower standard by any
Exactly.
chance.
So now imagine associating their name with a new developer with one project that is yet to be completed in Dubai. But even before completing that project, we're already announcing them with us in two other projects,
Wow. Yeah.
right? So this is the first part, as when how can I work with Mira developers,
Right.
right? So if Bentley is working with us gladly and happily, if Jacob and Co is working with us, if Tursad is working with us, why wouldn't you work with us? Like, what's stopping you, right? Now, the second part is that how will I understand and assess if a developer will deliver when it comes to international market or like in Georgia specifically, right? So as I said, right now, the Justice House actually is the government entity that is regulating the market. The Justice House is on a daily basis, adding new laws, making it more safe for foreign investors, putting more fines on developers who delay delivery, who cancel projects, and so on. So it's even harder right now to launch
Sure.
projects in
Sure.
Georgia.
Sure.
That's first. Second of all, the SPA that we provide you here in Mira, is coming directly from the Justice House. Right? So basically, you have a whole government entity in Georgia that is making sure that the project will be delivered as mentioned in the contract. The
Right.
SPA is very detailed. You have all the delivery conditions of the community, the delivery conditions of the project itself, of the apartment, of the unit, to the last spoon, right? And all this is happening in place is because we're promising something huge.
Right.
We're promising a lot of things in this project. So we can't come 1 year later and say we're canceling the office building, we're canceling the hotel, we're canceling the medical. No,
True.
right? So all this regulation is coming directly from the Justice House, and that's also one way to make sure that you are buying with the right developer. Is first of all knowing who you're working with, and then read the contracts thoroughly that you get directly from the Georgian government.
Absolutely. What's a project that you think should be highlighted specially by Mira right now? Whether it's in Georgia, Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
I'd say two projects,
Yeah.
two for
Yeah.
sure. One, of course, my favorite for now is Mira Verde in Georgia. I really love this project. I love the country. I love the potential. I see the potential, and that's why I'm always highlighting it with in every meeting I go to. Mira Verde, and then the second, which is gonna be launched very soon, which is Mira Hills, something very exclusive, something very unique, another first of its kind. Right? You're gonna hear us saying first of its kind a lot, but this is what we are doing.
Right.
This is a first of its kind concept, right? No developer is giving aftercare on branded projects here.
Are we getting a sneak peek or?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Okay.
But very soon,
Yeah.
very soon, we're gonna have a lot of more details. The only thing I can give you is we're talking about a master community that is 50 million square feet plus, that is gonna have a ski resort,
Wow.
is gonna have villa clusters, mansions, museum. We're gonna have a sunken arena, something similar to Coca-Cola Arena, for example, let's say. Yeah, that's what we can say for
Wow.
now.
Okay. Okay. That's a good teaser, I would say. Now, what are the biggest risks investors should take into consideration while considering Georgia? Let's say.
All right. So as I said, it's not a risk-free investment for sure. It's a new market for you. It is the first investment out of the Dubai market and everything. And one thing I always say is that Dubai spoiled us. Right? Living in Dubai makes you very spoiled. Right? You expect everything to be very safe.
Right.
You expect everything to be very convenient. So investing internationally becomes a very, very, very different thing for you, right? So the first and most important thing to point out, I wouldn't even call it a risk, but it's not the same as Dubai. We don't have the same RERA regulations we have in Dubai here. We don't have it in Georgia. You need to get used to the regulations that the Justice House is imposing on the market. They have their own rules. They are trying to make it as safe as possible. Every day, as I said, they're imposing new rules. They're introducing new laws to make it safe for investors, right? Because Georgia is most of the real estate transactions are by foreigners in Georgia. So what matters to them the most is making sure that foreigners feel safe investing in Georgia.
Right.
It is going to take some time for them to catch up with all the rules, with all the ways of making it safe, but it's going to take some time. So that's why I would always suggest that work with a reputable developer, right? Because the country, khalas, we know it's worth it. We know
Yeah.
the potential in it. Now choose the right developer, choose the right location, enter right now, and get the maximum potential yield.
Right.
whether it's rentals or capital appreciation. Because if you wait till all the safety points are covered, the escrow accounts and so on, then you're not gonna be entering at a very low point.
Exactly.
Because appreciation has been happening already for the past 3-4 years. We're talking about 15, 14, 20% appreciation in some locations. So if you keep on waiting, you're not entering at the lowest price point.
Agreed.
Let's say.
Agreed. In 5 years from now, what outcomes, what results would you want to see after the handover by a couple of years? Maybe would you want to see from Mira Verde specifically, that would make you consider this is a success story for the developer and for the investor?
All right. So, from an investor's point of view, I would say a success would be delivered on time, right? The quality as promised, the community lively and amazing quality as promised, the management in the community. Of course, we're managing it, so the management as promised. That would be a success in the eyes of the investors for sure. In the eyes of us and Mira here as a developer, I would say setting a new benchmark of branded living in Georgia, right? There is very high demand for exclusive projects, for premium projects in Georgia, but there's no one to fill that gap. So once we see that, yes, we have filled that gap, I think it's a success point for us that we fill that gap of branded living, of premium projects in Georgia, right? Once we also set a new standard, right, in Georgia for community living, for having schools in the community, for having everything within a community, then I think that's a success, right?
Absolutely.
We don't come to a location just to be part of a location. We're coming to set a new landmark in the map in every location, right?
Love that.
Yes. So when we do that, I think we see yes, we successfully came to that location, put our name on the map, set a new benchmark, and we wait for others to do the same as well, upgrade the location basically. So that's what is success for us. Basically, both sides, us as a developer and an investor, we both moved early, and we're both happy that we both moved early. We came into the country very early, and we bought the investor with us very early.
Which gives you the opportunity to be the pioneers, the pioneer developers of the country and set the benchmark, basically.
Exactly.
Lastly, I want to give you credit right back at you and say that actually working with agents with work ethic like yourself and the team makes a lot of difference. And I think it reflects on the core identity and the DNA of the developer. So I see that with you and with the team and everyone. So I want to thank you
You're welcome.
so much for coming today and for your assistance always.
In fact, thank you for having us and for choosing this very interesting topic, right? As we said, we always appreciate and we value agents and partners who always know which topics to highlight, who always know which questions to ask, who always know what valuable insights the investors are looking for,
Absolutely.
right? And we're always here to support, always here to grow together and make sure that we're setting new benchmarks every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and it
Thank
was a pleasure having you.
Same here. Likewise. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you.